Presets class, I just want to go over, before we get into these examples, what DF means. It's degrees of freedom, and the degrees of freedom is one less than the sample size. So on this problem, 18 different video games were observed. That would mean the degrees of freedom is 17, one less than those 18. Alright guys, we're going to use now a hypothesis test about a mean. And again, I know it's about a mean because it says sample mean there. And the way that we do that is very similar to how we did the hypothesis test about a proportion. We're going to press stat, come over to test. All right, now these are called t-tests. So if they're about a proportion, we selected the one prop z-test. But when they're about a mean, we're going to select the t-test. Now the first thing it asks is, do you have data or do you have stats? So in this video we're going to look if we have stats. Stats just mean these values over here. N is a stat. X bar, the sample mean, is a stat. Standard deviation, those are all stats. So that's what we have here. All right, wants to know what's the claim. Well, that's going to come from this setup. So we're going to look through here and see, do we have any keywords that imply direction? Above, below, greater than, less than. And here's where it tells us to test the claim. The population of student course evaluation has a mean equal to 4. So it doesn't imply direction. It doesn't say greater than, less than, above, below. So that means that, again, that's going to be our null, the 4, and the mean is equal to that. So when it doesn't imply direction, that means the alternate is just not equal to. So there is our setup. Equal to, not equal to. Alright, when it asks to determine the test statistic, that means you need to put in all your values. So 4 is our value that we're going to put in there for the mu with a little 0 beside it. That's the claimed value. My sample mean is up here. That's the 3.91. Sample deviation is that 0.63. And then the sample size was 83. Alright, I got it right already, so I know the alternate hypothesis is not equal to. So there is that one. I'm going to select that one. Then I'm going to come down here to calculate. Up top, that's going to be my test statistic. Rounded to two places is negative 1.30. Alright, I hit enter. So there's my test statistic. The next thing I want to know is the p-value. Just like with the one prop z-test, that's right below it. So there is my p-value. To three places, that's 0.197. Alright, and then once you know your p-value, you're going to compare that to alpha. Alpha is 0.05. So is 0.197 less than alpha? Is 0.197 less than 0.05? No. So I'm going to fail to reject the null hypothesis. When I fail to reject, it's because there is not sufficient evidence to conclude that the mean of course evaluation is, and this is just the alternate hypothesis. The equality to 4 is not correct. Right? There is not evidence to conclude that that is not correct, which is, again, the alternate hypothesis. Not equal to 4. Equal to 4 is not correct. It's a weird way to say it, but that's the alternate hypothesis.